We are in Nelson's Dockyard in Antigua, and this is a short tour of the Nelson's Dockyard. And we start in the most famous structure of the boatyard, the pillars. The idea of the pillars was that when boat needed to change sails, the sails were removed, and a boat would come into the slip. And there was a structure on top of the colors. The conical concrete structures were added just to preserve it, but there was like a whole floor up above, so you know, like workers could fix the sails. So now we're gonna go take a look around the Nelson's Dockyard. The idea for the dockyard was simple. The English ships coming to the region needed maintenance, especially because of worms that were riddling the hull. So every now and then the boats needed to be careened, which means put on the side, and the wood would need to be treated. So that's what was going on here. So we see a lot of original structures. This is a soffit shutter cabin. And this would be Nelson's house. But when Nelson was here, he was here for a couple of years. He never stayed in the house. He used to stay on the boat. Back in the times, the conditions were really bad. They didn't really understand where all the diseases are coming from. They were coming from the mosquitoes, but they just kind of thought it's the air. There was a hospital here that, you know, that was the last resort, and it was mostly considered a one-way trip. Around 40,000 people died here over the years because of diseases. We see that the area is nice and square, but back in the days, there used to be a hill here, and the workers or slaves from plantations had to provide slaves for the construction here. There were so many of them that they actually leveled the whole hill and used the ballast material to extend the land, and that basically provided greater depths for bigger boats. So a boat would usually come here, and you know, they would put it on its side. We're gonna see the equipment used for that, and you know, the officers and the men would live like right up here. And on the left hand side we see the remains of the older structure, so that would be the storage. Whatever they were carrying, you know, they would just put in here for the time when the ship was fixed. So regarding Horatio Nelson, he's the famous English general who won the Battle of Trafalgar and famously died there. He met his wife here. She was from Nevis, and basically he brought her to England, but later he met another lady named Emma in Naples. So we see a lot of structure. For example, this would be the seaman's galley, and so they would cook like a broth or something. And now we come to see the structures that were used to careen the ship. So basically a line would be attached to the ship's mast, and with the use of these three huge wheels, it would basically put the ship on its side, and that's how they could treat the wood for worms. Lots of history. The anchor there marks a spot of a famous duel that was determining who's the boss here. There's also the famous sundial, one of the oldest things that we can see here, and it still works today. Wondering if we get a look at what time it is now, just to check it, but it looks like it's in the shade already. But we can have a look at marks the cardinal directions as well as time. All right, so as I said, it took up to 6 months to finish a boat, and that's because people were paid in rum. And this rum, back in the days, it was 150 proof, and they do still sell it here. So I'm just wondering if we can check out the rum. They still have it here, so this is exactly the spot where they would used to get it. How's it going? Just wanted to take a look at it, like if it's really here. Yeah, it's here. 151, right? Cavalier. All right, great, thanks. Yeah, that's the rum that they would get for work, usually at noon. They got a bunch of rum, they got paid in rum, right? So that's what they were getting, so that's why it took so long to fix the ship. All right, so at the moment there's the boat show happening here. I couldn't think of a better location for the boat show to take place than here. So originally, the idea of the English Harbour was that it was well protected, both from wind and it's almost invisible from the land. So at first they would work on the other side, and that's where the first establishment was. But then the Antiguan people kind of wanted protection from all kinds of raids that were happening at the moment, so they really tried hard to get the English down here, especially with water, and this basically gave them protection. So they started this part of the marina. So later, the Nelson's Dockyard lost its value when steamships began to be used, and the process of preserving would no longer be needed. So this is the tour of Nelson's Dockyard, and have a great day.